Is this thing on? Anybody there? Do y'all see me? Think. Oh, it's on. Well, go on, bro, or wherever you are on the World Wide Web. Subscribe to the Mother F channel. It's free. It's all free. Watching the video is free. Liking and subscribing is free. What you'll get on this channel are videos that are guaranteed to make you laugh, brighten up your day. But most importantly, you will learn something and add it to your head top. You know, I'll talk about addiction, specifically weed, financial literacy, you know, getting our financial game up, and I'll drop a little gift card, a product review once in a while. So you click on this video and you may or may not be intend to quit your corporate or just regular job. And I want to get someone's first-hand perspective. This is gonna be like a reaction style video about how they quit their, what's it called? Things to know before quitting your job, without, parenthesis, without another one lined up. Honestly, I say if you do want to quit your job, wherever it is, maybe you ended up taking a degree that you didn't like, and now you're at a job you don't like, or you don't like your current, you're not satisfied or content with your current like job status. Save anywhere from 6 to 12 months worth of expenses so that you can quit your job and you'll be good for at least 6 to 12 months. And then at that point, you can be working towards other areas of your life or other things that really satisfy you and really give you pleasure. So 6 to 12 months, I'm not sure what she's gonna say or what to find out, but I would say 6 to 12 months worth of expenses, have that saved up. Like your rent will be good, your hydro or waters, your groceries will be good. And then you can use that time to focus on your actual thing, you know what I'm saying? But if you can, then it's kind of hard because a full-time job does take up a lot of your time, and then sometimes they ask you to do other stuff behind the scenes, like after-hour activities. But if you can, do it alongside. But definitely 6 to 12 months worth of expenses saved up so that you can focus wholeheartedly and do your own shit. But let's type in. Vanessa Lau.
What is up, everyone? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Vanessa Lau from VanessaLau.co, and in today's video we are going to talk about the things that you need to consider before you quit your job. Now, the reason that this video is even possible is because in last week's video where I talk about why I left my corporate job, I had asked you guys to give me a thumbs up if this is the type of content that you want to see, and I got so many likes and so many thumbs up, so many messages. I was so thrilled that you guys really connected with my story, and so that is why today's topic is the topic that it is. And in this video I am going to talk about things like finances, because I personally think that's a huge portion of what you would consider if you were to leave your job or not. But I do want to leave a disclaimer that I am by no means a financial expert, so if you actually need professional guidance on finances, then definitely seek that professional guidance. What I'm talking about is based off of my personal experience.
Anecdotal
so
experience.
Put that out there as a disclaimer. On top of that, the same thing that I mentioned in my last video is that everyone's journey is unique. Please don't follow my journey and follow it step by step and thinking that this is the model that you need to follow. That is not true. Everyone has their own reasons as to why they leave a job. I am not encouraging anyone to leave their job before they are ready. So just wanted to also throw that out there, that all I'm doing is sharing the information that I have in order to help someone that is seeking this information. So with that being said, serious stuff aside, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and as always, please don't hesitate to like and subscribe if you want to see my content every week. So one of the major things that I kind of overlooked before I quit my job is the financial consequences that are directly tied to the company if you quit. So for example, if you have a group RRSP where your employer actually matches the amount of money that you contribute to this fund, you need to be careful and to be sure that you understand what the vesting period is for your company. Now, before I explain what vesting period means, I should probably explain to you, just in case, what I mean by group RRSP. If you are part of an employer matching program that's directed towards your retirement savings, what that means is, for example, let's say every paycheck, a portion of it goes directly deposited into your RRSP. And let's say for every dollar that you put in, your company will put in 50 cents, so 50%. So let's say in your RRSP with the company, you have a total now of $10,000 after a couple years of service, depending on how much you contributed. Of that $10,000, 50% of it is your contribution, and the other 50% of it is your company's. But what you really need to understand is that every company has a vesting period. And I actually didn't know about this until after I quit and talked to my financial advisor. So what a vesting period is, that is the period of time that you need to stay in the company before you are entitled to those funds. Whether that's in an RRSP where your employer matches part of your contribution, or it could also be stock options. If you quit, let's say before 3 years, which is the vesting period of your company, let's say, then the company is not entitled to give you that money because that still belongs to the company since you quit before that vesting period. So that is something that is key to keep in mind of and to make sure that you get that information before you leave. Another type of information that's important for you to acquire before you hand in your letter of resignation is to 100% make sure that there are no penalties involved to you leaving your job. For example, for some companies, if they relocated you, let's say from Vancouver to Toronto, and they paid for all of your expenses to move you, if you leave before a certain amount of time, the company can actually bill you for all the expenses that were incurred in order to move you to that city. And that's just a quick
Kidding me? You're kidding me. You gotta be kidding me.
Are you kidding me?
I mean, are you kidding me?
Are you kidding me?
You gotta be kidding me.
They're gonna bill you for all the expenses that they use to ship you to the another. Yo, it's really I get it because you invested this time, resources, energy into training this person to work for your company, but it's like they're trying to hold you in as long as possible before you're able to. Wow. Ideally, make sure you check your contracts, all that shit, before you try and quit. Like, it shouldn't be like a rash decision. Clearly, that's what she's trying to say. Quitting should not be a rash decision. It's just something that is calculated. You know exactly, like the probation period, like, quote unquote, or like the time the safe period to quit, right? Because it's like they make it comfortable enough where you have to stay or you really need to stay, but then you're still under somebody else's like authority or thumb, right? So it's like you're not really living life on your terms, but you still need the job. And especially if you have responsibilities. Ladies and gentlemen, stay strapped up, plan B, all that shit. Cause like even harder to quit like this type of job when you have responsibilities such as a kid or I don't know, like just somebody's dependent on you, right? So like make your life as lean as possible so that you have more options. Like if you have a kid, it's harder to travel with the kid, just stuff like that. Yeah, that's crazy.
A quick example. This can also apply to the special trainings that you received, or if, let's say, the company put you through schooling or paid for an exam that you took. Those are things that the company can actually bill you for if you leave before a certain time. What you have to make sure, though, is that in the contract that you signed, there was no fine print stating that. And if there was a fine print stating that you ensure you have a plan for yourself and that you keep that time frame in mind. This actually also applies to signing bonuses as well. So just make sure you are super careful before you leave to do your due diligence and make sure that there are no fine prints stating that. And if there are, actually having a plan and working around it. Another thing that's tied directly to the company financially if you leave is your company benefits, especially your health benefits. So an amazing thing about working for a corporate company or for a company that pays for your health insurance is that you can save so much money on these types of expenses. A type of prescription that costs $10,000 can easily cost $40 because you work for this company and because you're insured. So my advice to you is to see if it's really worth it to let go of all of those benefits that you have. And if you do think that it's worth it, then I would highly suggest to go see a dentist, go see the optometrist, stock up on your prescription before you pull the plug. The second thing.
This is why you need that like emergency fund of at least 6 to 12 months, right? So that you are covered. There's some kind of cushion between you and Murphy's Law, you and like any type of like, maybe you quit and all of a sudden something happen in your family, you need to contribute, or something happens to you and you trying to get, and you don't have the same like health, especially if you're in America, you don't have the same like healthcare system to take care of yourself, right? There's even situations where I've just read about like the whole like American healthcare system. I remember watching this one video where a guy had to choose between, like, there was one expense where it was having a greater negative impact on his health and another one where it was less of an impact. But the greater one was obviously more expensive. So between the one that had the greatest negative impact on his health and the lesser one, he had to choose a lesser one. And whereas the other one is still like negatively affecting him. So I just found it crazy how y'all don't be taking care of your people out there, bro. So 6 to 12, I'm gonna keep stressing it. 6 to 12 months of expenses saved up minimum. And obviously, as you're saying, be cautious of the contracts, whatever your company did to train you, signing bonuses, all that good stuff.
That you want to consider is your personal finances. So this is different than the finances that are directly tied to the company. This is your personal plan. How much money do you actually have saved up before you take the leap of faith? When you leave a job without another one lined up, or you have a business that's not generating you income yet, it can be extremely, extremely stressful to always look at your bank account and seeing that number go down and knowing that nothing is coming in. Especially if you're starting your own business, when you are so stressed out about your bank account, you start finding yourself in a position where you cheap out on a lot of essential services and tools that could potentially grow your business exponentially. So if you're considering starting your own business, I highly, highly recommend that you actually talk to other entrepreneurs and understand all of their expenses.
For example, there are courses that you might need to buy, optimization tools that you need to subscribe for, email marketing platforms that you need to buy, an accountant that you need to hire, lawyers to make sure that what you're doing is within the law, coaches that you might need to hire to mentor you and guide you.
There are a ton of expenses that you might not realize that are associated to having a business. And if you're not starting your own business and you're simply quitting your job to explore your other options, you also want to consider that other companies have interview lead times that are upwards to months on end. So you also want to prepare yourself for these lead times. And if you already know that the companies that you're eyeing might have a very long interview process, you might want to start applying to these companies while you're still employed and while you're still earning a pay. You also have to consider that there are actually a lot of expenses that you take for granted when you have money coming in. Cost of living and the cost of having fun. You know, it really sucks to know that you've left your job, but now you have to isolate yourself socially because you're cheaping out and you don't want to spend money on a nice dinner with your friends. You don't really want to spend money on that movie ticket. And there are certain activities that you can do for free. The sad truth is that you do need some money in order to sustain the relationships and the friendships that you have and the places that you guys all go to. It really sucks to be that person that can't go on that trip or can't go out to dinner or goes to dinner and makes everyone feel awkward because all you're drinking is water. These are certain things that you do want to consider before you quit your job. I felt so uncomfortable knowing that my bank account was just shrinking and shrinking and shrinking because all of the expenses that I had to fork out for my business. And even though I had a good amount of money saved, for me personally, it just didn't feel right knowing that there was no income coming in, especially for someone like me who's always had a job, always had money coming in. It just felt freaking weird. And not only did it feel weird, I also found myself, again, like I said earlier, cheaping out on essential things that I need in order to build my business. And so what I had to do is I had to drop my big fat ego and take a job across the street where now I proudly can announce that I work at a coffee shop as a barista. And being a part-time coffee barista is something that I never thought I would be doing, but I'm not embarrassed or ashamed by it because I know my why. And this is something that I want you to consider as well, because when you leave your job without a concrete plan afterwards, there is going to be a lot of social pressure. Once you quit your job and people start finding out about it, you're going to get questions left, right, front, and center of people asking you what you're up to. And all of these questions mean incredibly well, but when you personally don't have your shit together 100%, it can totally create a lot of self-doubt. And when you have this type of self-doubt, it can easily cloud your vision and cloud your purpose and cloud your goals. And this type of cloudiness starts making you feel like you need to get a job right away, even if that job is actually not aligned with your purpose, your vision, or your why. For example, I hit a period where I was filled with self-doubt. When you don't have a job lined up or you don't have something traditional, people really start questioning that and people really start to unintentionally make...
It doesn't make sense to people until it makes sense. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't make sense to people until it makes sense. That's why a lot of entrepreneurs are crazy. Like, they don't live, like, their risk tolerance is a lot higher. So if your risk tolerance is high, you don't have too much like dependence, you have like the ability to like take that leap of faith, and instead of maybe having a full-time job, maybe you don't have to quit. Maybe instead of having a full-time like corporate or whatever it is job that's takes 8 hours of your time or 40 hours a week, maybe do something that's 20 hours where you still have some income coming in, may not be as much, plus your savings, and then you can focus more of your time and energy on that specific like business model or YouTube channel, whatever it is. It's not always like you need to go completely full course. You could just quit completely, have nothing coming in, but it's also important maybe just do something part-time. Like with me personally, I took a server job, whereas they post shifts or jobs, and then I go whenever I want. So 1 month I could work maybe 15 times out of the month. Next month I work 0 times. So if you can find a place that's flexible like that, you'd be good.
You feel like you made the wrong decision. So when I found myself at that point, I actually started to look for another corporate job. And I was scrolling through all of the job descriptions, all of the corporate companies that I could work for. And I was just like, why the fuck am I doing this? And that's when I reminded myself of my why I left my old corporate job in the first place, and knowing deep down inside that if I take another one just to satisfy other people, that I would end up with the same problem and I would probably end up quitting that job too. Because deep down, I knew that even though a corporate job with a fancy title and a good salary was nice, I knew deep inside that if I took a job that was full-time 9 to 5, that was project-based, that had deadlines, knowing my character, I would take that shit home and I would never really fully focus on building my dream business. And so what I ended up doing is I ended up applying to the coffee shop that's right across my house, and 3 days a week I am the best barista that I could possibly be. So even if I'm wrapping pastries or I'm serving someone an Americano or I'm learning latte art, I have a purpose of why I'm there and I'm happy to do the job. And the reason why I'm sharing this is because I want to show you that quitting your job to start your own business is not sunshine and rainbows like what you think it is. There are a lot of hard sacrifices that you need to make in order to make your dream happen. And if that means being a barista or being a bartender or taking a retail job to free up time to really focus on what you love doing while also getting some side income, then that's what you need to do. And if you're not prepared to make those type of sacrifices, then maybe you're not ready. So unless you are ready for that type of roller coaster ride and the sacrifices that you potentially need to make, especially if you're leaving your job without another lined up or without having a thriving business that you're already side hustling while you're...
Amen. So instead of taking a full-time job, essentially, take something part-time and have a decent amount of expenses saved up, covered in your savings account. That's pretty much it, bro. And be cautious of the investment period of your company and of how long you need to stay in that company before you can quit and do something else, you know? But yo, God bless. Use your business, use your job to fund your actual hobby or your actual passion. God bless, much love, peace and joy. Namaste. And always remember, if it doesn't feed you, don't water it. And too much of any good thing is good for nothing. Check out some more videos in the cards up here, the description, and pin comment. All right, fam. Deuces.
you.